Good morning and welcome to OG Foundation, capital of the sovereign state of Lodium. I am your host, Sovereign Non of Lodium. This is episode 7 of season 12, where focusing again on the walls and the floor of the Molly Stark Tower. And there's some little chickies brewing that might be born this week. We will see. So we're starting off this week by bending metal. Here's the first remesh bend, which should be for the railing for the staircase. So the short one bends into the wall, and then this box is in the staircase. And then making a bunch of arched steel for the next rebar things that relate to the dome and the roof of the Molly Stark Tower. Now I'll show you up there. So here's that remesh roughed in around the staircase. And I'll end up putting forms on this, and I'm thinking that I'll also put a vertical rebar right on the corner here, which will end up arching up and being a structural element. I think that'll solve one of the problems I've been fretting about for the dome features, which those arch piece of rebar will go into, and I'll get into this week, I assume. The barbarians are circling the gates. It's Friday evening. The rain has passed, and this is a late spring evening sunset. Low-lying clouds with the mist rising. Saturday morning, doing some metal work, lots of metal work. Prepped a good section here, and I'm working on prepping section there. And now that I've got like 3 sides enclosed, I can progress faster. There's going to be a chimney hole right around there, and after I can finish a bit more metal work after a tenant meeting, then I'll do a batch mortar, assuming the weather's good, and then get it on that wall, and that floor section should take a whole batch. So after some long, exhaustive metal work, doing all those ties, I'm basically ready through here, up to that duct tape, and then like around to there-ish. End of the day Saturday, just one batch of mortar, but got basically another 2 feet all around that arc, and a little bit started on that form before I ran out of mortar. A little bit of reinforcement on that kind of arch there. And the end of the floor section part is now, it's going faster. As I enclose more of the space, I can get access to more of the space, kind of, though. I still couldn't really get out over there to get that. But I should be able to kind of just like push out through the middle to the other side somehow. I don't know the next step, but that's as far as I got for today. First batch on Sunday, and just kind of plugging some of these holes in the walls below. This was all just kind of free form, and reinforcing that arch, and I'll show you above. So I've got a little bit of plastic over it, but basically I extended that sidewall with the cut piece of remesh, bended 6 inches down towards me, which those weights are weighting down, and then I just got some mortar on that to anchor that in, and that rebar coming up is what's gonna be a support element for the dome. And I wanted to extend this little sidewall here, both for kind of the geometry, the structural elements of it, and then also just for more safety around that staircase, though it might just be a little bit lower right there. And then got some good coverage on these walls, and the next batch I might be doing an overcoat on a lot of that new stuff. And then I was able to get a little bit done in that corner over there. I don't know if you can see it, but connecting this wall over to the far wall. Though over there it's going to dry out super fast, so I gotta maybe cover it with plastic or something. But breakfast for now. In the first batch I also got some coverage on that new form, about as high as I can go before hitting the rebar. And now I'm gonna take those forms down over there. Here's what one of those forms looks like that had plywood as the form. And then I've already bent the staples down on that one. And then here's one that had plastic over particle board. Just really interesting texture to work with. There's actually a lot more kind of texture to bond with the plastic. There's just one spot here where the plastic's stuck, so I'm gonna have to scrape that off. So I'm just prepping up here. So Sunday afternoon, 3 more forms, 1, 2, 3 are up. And I don't know if I mentioned, but I got a coat on the back of that one form, at least for a couple feet up. So I have coverage for most of this, and if I can kind of by hand fill the gaps, use a batch with a whole bunch of fiberglass in it, and make sure it's not too wet, hopefully I can get a continuous kind of bond beam all the way around. The corner there will be the most difficult, but if I can get that, that'll be huge. Might be difficult to see with the lighting, but that one has coverage. Those 2 are prepped, and then the third one is prepped on the other side. And then next to that, all of that is ready for a coat as well. So that's where the focus is for this batch. So Monday morning, I was able to get 3 batches done yesterday and get really good coverage up on that corner, which I'm really happy about, because that'll bond those 2 walls really well. And yeah, it looks like it's gonna rain, but that's how far I got yesterday. And right there you can see there's kind of the cut in for what'll be a window up there. And on the inside over here, I was able to get a bit of undercoating, and that wall all the way up to that piece of rebar which that 2x4 is supporting. So once that cures, I can take that 2x4 out and then fill in the last gap of that wall as well. And then up top, got good coverage on that wall. I think that was yesterday. And the floor is slowly closing in, and basically got all that seamless so that the gaps in between the forms are able to get all good. And then even on the back side of this, got some good coverage as well. Yet on this little section, you can see how the remesh that was bent down from the extension of this kind of banister type thing to protect from the stairway, how that was mortared in on that side, and then also on this side mortared in like that, where there's some areas where the lath is bending down this way. And so now that that's all sturdy in there, I'll be able to do a form or 2 on this after the rain, perhaps. You can see that sharpest corner, how it turned out there, which is really good structurally. So there's a weak point right around that hole there, basically, and so it's really good to have that tied in on that side. It's afternoon on Monday, and it's raining a little bit. I'm gonna see if I can get some work done. Look at this. There's a tub up here, just kind of like storage, and there's a chicken. There's a chicken in here. She got stuck in there somehow. There's no way for her to get out. Luckily, I put the goats in this area earlier today, and I saw her head poking out. I don't know how long she's been in there, but she would have died in there for sure. What are you doing in there, girl? She got an egg. Maybe she's been eating eggs. Oh, look at her go. She's eating it right now. Don't eat the egg. Save the egg. Now I gotta save the chicken. And she's saved. It's that girl there drinking the water. That's Ghost. I don't know how long she was in there, but glad she's alright. She was thirsty, that's for sure. Wednesday morning, getting an early start with mortar. First bucket is gonna go on that form there, and then I'll get on to the floor section. So most of the metal prep I've done is over on the left there. Then you can kind of see a hole cut out for the chimney, and applying the mortar now. So after the morning batch, I rounded the corner there and got up to where the chimney hole is right there, and then got the back of that one exposed form got some coverage on this form here, and then this form I just need to prep. I'll probably pull a couple more forms before the next batch of the day, and I got full coverage on the remesh that's bent there. That's all for the first batch. It's week 3. Grizzly's off of her eggs, and so I get a look at them. There's 3 there with several broken ones, and I don't know why she's over here, but I haven't heard any peeps. You got any chickies? I don't know, we'll see. I hear a chickie. What about those other eggs, girl? Oh my gosh! Look at 2 little baby chickies! Okay, now they're back in there with the eggs, so hopefully she can sit on the eggs and keep the chickies. Alright, girl. Good job, Grizzly. 2 babies. Hey, girl. How's it going in here? Up, there's 2 little chickies. How's it? Cute kitties. How's it going? You got any other ones? Still 3 eggies. Oh, that one's not doing so good. I'm gonna grab it. Let's see if I can nurse that one. So this one's having a tough time. Wouldn't have made it, I don't think, if I didn't intervene. So I am firing up the incubator, and then I'll put this one and then the last 3 eggs in the incubator and see if we can do better than 2. So I got the 1 chick who was in distress in here, and then the 3 eggs. Grizzly wasn't sitting on the eggs anymore, so we'll give the eggs a chance to hatch, and I'll give this one a chance to recover over here in a nice warm environment here. Young JW is hanging out next to Ninja, the one surviving goldfish from last year, on a wealth of nickels. Little JW here was doing so good, I was gonna bring him back in with the other 2, and then I found one that was like in severe distress, looking like it was almost dead in there. So instead I brought JW back to the incubator, and then I grabbed the other one. The other one's not looking very good. Mama's not doing a very good job. Super sad. I guess she's just got 1 left now, though I haven't seen it, but it's under her feathers, under her wings. You're not doing the greatest job, girl. You're 1 for 3. But you made life, so good job. Better than all the other girls. You got 1 more than everyone else. Like doing that. What are you doing? Okay. Hopefully the other 2 do alright. What do you boys think? Looking good, hon. Go, there, go. So by the end of the day on Wednesday, rounded that 1 corner and then reached that corner, and there's basically just 1 corner left that I haven't reached. Though it may take 2 kind of rounds to get that all done, depending on how that goes. And then that's where the chimney will be. And I got good coverage on that form there, and then the corner, and then on the back side of this form as well. It's a beautiful sunny day. That's so far I got on the outside. Got 2 coats on that form that I took down, and you can really kind of see that indentation there in the mortar. That will be the window. I just haven't cut the metal out yet. And maybe tomorrow I'll pull that next form over there, and I actually pulled the next form around the corner, but I haven't gotten to prepping it yet. That one up there I was able to pull, but I haven't gotten up there with the ladder yet. But I did get a lot of reinforcement in between the circle windows, so that it's extra thick there to be able to support the weight from above. And the ceiling is slowly closing in. RJ over there with the stripe is doing a lot better now in the incubator. JW and RJ doing okay. RJ didn't make it through the night, and JW is just barely hanging in there. Maybe they were a little older than I thought. I don't know. I'm trying to give JW here a little bit of water. JW is just barely hanging in there. I'm trying to drip feed him some water. What do you think, girl? Oh, cutie. Oh, she's still got 2 alive. I thought it was down to 1. So hopefully these two cuties hang in there. Just gotta make sure they get some water. Chickies, drink some water there. Good chickies. So Thursday morning, and you can see there that the middle of this floor is down somewhere between like probably about 1.5 inches on average. So from the sides. So the first order of business for today is to do a batch and to put it in this whole middle area with a good bit of fiber in it. And then I'm going to leave a little bit left over and maybe 1 bucket and see about getting some undercoating on the new stuff from yesterday. Otherwise, I don't want to try to really get out on the new stuff to do the metal work for that, because it would be still a bit fragile. A lot of this stuff really just has 1 coat, and maybe it's a kind of thick coat, but I've been like walking on it up here even with just 1 coat, and you can kind of feel the areas where it's more fragile. But yeah, this should go pretty quickly. I'll put a nice big plop of it right here in the middle. I'm also adding some of this, which is a free sample sent by this Spacecrete channel. I think they're on YouTube, and I think it's supposed to help with cracks or something. I don't fully understand it, but I figured I'd give them a shout out since they sent me this for free. So I ended up doing the whole batch up here just to help level it out. I ended up like troweling it, which I hesitate to do because it'll make the future coats more difficult to bond. I use a magnesium trowel, which maybe helps it to bond in the future, but regardless, it was just so big and flat I couldn't not use a trowel. So anyways, this will help a lot with the level. It'll help a lot with the weight dispersion, and with a lot of fiber in there, it'll have some decent tensile strength to it as well. I'll just wait for it to dry out just a little bit, have some breakfast, and then I'll put plastic over it after I water the edges. And then I didn't have any left over for the undercoat. I think next coat I'll do another batch after breakfast and do a foundational one with some left over for some undercoating if I can. Then over here, they've been sitting on these eggs. Speedy was sitting up top, who's down there. Now she's sitting below. And someone was sitting on eggs up here on both of them last night. So, I don't know, I'll have to manage that also. Here you can see what a mixture of abrasion plus like chemical burning looks like. And it's really difficult to heal because the areas that get damaged are the ones that are continuing to get more abrasion, but duct tape. It's just more duct tape. Both JW and RJ passed away. Looks like JW had some birth issues. Their butt all bloated. That happens sometimes. And I think RJ got some kind of severe trauma. Probably getting kicked around or brutalized in there with the other ones. But good to see there's 2 still doing good. Check out how ghetto some of the things are around here. So these are old closet things that became unused and recycled, and I turned them into siding. And then look down here, there's like all these scraps. I've recycled 2x6 scraps that are like 3 inches long. There's like 3 blocks of like 3 to 4 inch long 2x6 scraps next to the other scraps of lumber to close up that area and do the siding. And free recycled windows, all recycled stuff except for the insulation and roof, basically. Tires, obviously. So that plastic will slow down the curing process just a little bit, and the drying out process from being in the sunlight. And the slower it goes, the better it'll bond with the layer below. And so I won't be able to get out that direction for the rest of today. So that'll be it for up here. You can't really see all that was done, but you can see what's remaining. That little pizza pie section of floor. And gotta do like an arch, I think, from this piece of rebar over to that piece of rebar. But I think first I might do some foundational work. So over here I've got this foundation all situated with the rocks pounded into the dirt and the tops of the tires, and screws into all of the crevices. Otherwise, trying to get as much of the steel tread of the tire caught in the steel as possible. It's always at an angle. So I'm gonna mix a thick batch for that. Maybe I'll get to some of the undercoating, we'll see, and keep packing out the foundation over there too. So as the weight goes up, the foundation can handle it. End of the day, Thursday. I think there's two chickies. The brown one is trying to get up under mommy's wings. And then there should be a yellow one in there too. So the two chickies are doing good. And the two goats escaped from two different pens today. Naughty boys. I got 3 batches of mortar done. And I'll give you a final shot of each. So I did a good bit of shaping on the base of this main column here. Just working on smoothing things out, kind of sculpting it out, and getting maybe a second or third coat on a lot of these areas in between the tires, and kind of adding some rock to build it out in places. And it's like reaching up to support the structure now in several different places, though it's still just kind of initial, and there's a lot more to add to get it as strong as it needs to be. But I added a couple hoses here in those holes that I could put wires through later if I want. And yeah, I got like second, third coats over here, and then just a first coat on all this sort of stuff. Getting some initial coverage on all of these screws and tires and stuff, so the foundations are stronger. And then up there, got a couple coats, or just a good double coat over that one form that was removed. And then just a little bit of undercoating in the corners where it has to get built up a bit. It was a bit more over here, bridged over to the opening there, so should be pretty solid to walk on out there maybe tomorrow. And then up here, you saw that one batch, and that's all I did up here. And it's all just still covered. I don't really want to unplastic it. But that's it for the projects for this week. Got the form set up here, ready for mortar if it's good weather tomorrow. And metalwork and form work ahead. So I did take the plastic off so that I could water it all really well. So this is the end state for the tower for this week, this episode. Yeah, 1 up top and then 2 on the foundations for the most part. Oh, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next week.